You're ambitious. You have big dreams. You want to be successful and live the life you've always imagined. But there's a problem. You're lazy. You know exactly what you should be doing, yet you don't do it. This leads to guilt, because deep down, you know you're capable of more. That guilt builds up over days, weeks, and months, until eventually you just accept it. Then a new year comes around, and once again, you set the same goals you had last year. You start strong, fueled by motivation and hope. But before long, procrastination sneaks back in. Like that one relative who always shows up uninvited, procrastination becomes part of your daily routine. Eventually, you label yourself as a lazy person. So how do we break this cycle? How do we finally stop procrastinating? There are tons of videos online about this, but most of them only deal with surface-level problems. Things like deleting social media or removing distractions. These might help temporarily, but they don't fix the real issue. They don't address the root cause of procrastination. That root cause can be explained in one word: inertia. In physics, inertia means that an object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion unless an outside force acts on it. This is Newton's first law of motion. And surprisingly, this law applies to tasks just as much as it applies to physical objects. Starting any task, no matter how small, requires energy. You need an initial push to move from doing nothing to doing something. The problem is that we make this first push feel huge in our minds. The task feels overwhelming, so instead of starting, we avoid it completely. We distract ourselves with easy, dopamine-filled activities like scrolling, gaming, or watching videos. To beat procrastination, we need to beat inertia. And there are two simple ways to do this. First, make getting started as easy as possible. Reduce the pressure and take the smallest step forward. For example, if you tell yourself, "I need to sit down and write a 5,000-word essay," the task feels massive. The stakes are high, and the inertia is strong. But if instead you tell yourself, "I'm just going to write 50 words," the task suddenly feels manageable. It's easy to start, and you don't need motivation or discipline to begin. Another powerful method is the 2-minute rule. If you don't feel like doing something, tell yourself you'll do it for just 2 minutes, and then you're allowed to stop. For example, if you don't feel like cleaning your room, put on one song. Clean until the song ends, then stop if you want. The same goes for studying, exercising, or working on a project. The interesting part is that most of the time, you won't stop. You'll keep going longer than 2 minutes. You'll write more than 50 words. Why? Because once you start moving, momentum takes over. Just like in physics, objects in motion tend to stay in motion. At first, it feels like pushing a heavy ball uphill. But once you get past that initial resistance, everything becomes easier. From there, it feels like rolling downhill. That's why the first step matters so much, and why it should be small and easy. Lower the stakes. Start with just 2 minutes. You can use this approach in any part of your life: going to the gym, working on a side hustle, improving relationships, or building better habits. As Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step."